Hey there, I wanted to talk a little bit about the KEF Reference 207 speakers that are making a noise in the mid-bass, mid-range driver. You may or may not experience this. These are older. This cone on this speaker says 1199. I'm assuming they might be have been manufactured in 1999. But yeah, they're a little bit old. I love them. They don't make these drivers anymore, obviously. They're obsolete. Not many people will work on them, and you can't really buy them anywhere. So if you have a set of 207s, you're at the mercy of kind of repairing drivers, which does suck, but older speakers, manufacturers don't make them, so it's understandable. So we got to figure it out on our own, and I want to help you in case you run into this problem, or if you're a technician that works on speaker repair, maybe this will give you some direction on some of the disassembly and the problem and maybe solution for this. So let me get into it here. So this KEF 207 reference is the original in the 207 line. There's also the 207/2s, which are the later version, but this is the 10-inch driver for mid-range and mid-bass. So the problem was it sounded like there was a leaf or, a loose voice coil happening, like imagine a little leaf hung in there. I'm gonna press on this one to see if I can replicate the noise. Whenever you push on it, you can hear it. Okay, you hear that? Don't wanna push too hard, but you can push pretty hard on them. It's not gonna hurt them, just be even with your distribution. But it sounds like some of the windings on the voice coil were coming loose, and I've been working with speakers for a long time, and I've repaired speakers, so I understand, kind of when I hear something, what it could be, but I was wrong. So let me explain. This is a driver that I disassembled. As you can see, it's the same one. So let me walk over here to the sun area where it's a little bit more lit up. That's where I removed it. You see some discoloration there, but that's more of like dust. It's not damage to the voice coil. See a little bit here on this side as well, kind of like dust remnants. I didn't want to wipe it off because I wanted to make this video first to show kind of what I'm seeing. Now to get this driver out, or the cone out of the basket, I'm gonna set this aside. You have to use some xylene. I tried acetone, and then I tried removing the spider with nothing, and it's glued in there too tightly. So when it slips over, you can see where the spider sits. It sits right here on this ring area. You need to dip a brush in here or somehow apply it, and use a brush or a different way of application. Apply it to the spider, give it about a minute. And you have to do coats as you're removing it. It's kind of a sequence. I did try using a little razor blade, a little dental probe. This is how I started. So I kind of poked at it a little bit to raise an area. But that's before I used the xylene. Once I started applying the xylene the next day, it actually came up pretty easy, and I didn't damage anything. And I also found you could be a little bit more aggressive with it. You didn't have to be so gentle like a surgeon. Of course, you want to have that mindset, it is speaker surgery, but you just start working the glue and pull up, and you'll start to work your way around. What I find is it's easier to kind of come from this angle and work it around as you go. And this allows you that distance to push through here because there's a big blockage right here. So coming at an angle, coming around allows you to push pretty far through, and then you can start working it on the other side here. So enough of that. Back to the noise. So what I discovered is it's not the voice coil. There is debris hung all in the voice coil gap here, you can see I've pushed it. I used a toothpick and some paper, kind of cleaned it out in these areas fairly well, but it's kind of gold. It looks like gold. And I basically inspected the voice coil, assuming, could it be this glue maybe here? And it doesn't look like it's had any damage or broken off anywhere, so that's intact. This one's intact. I think just one little spot at the bottom, but definitely not enough to account for that debris. So I don't know where it's coming from. I don't see any of the voice coil remnants coming off, and none of this is metallic. I mean, I guess the wire could be if you broke some off on the coil, but so that's the dilemma. I don't understand where the debris is coming from. So what I did is I took a toothpick and basically put it in the channel here and just worked it around, and at least got most of it over to one side. I'll continue to do this. And then I also used a piece of paper, a thick piece of paper from the mail, and so you can hear that. That's what the voice coil is rubbing on. And so I'm kind of using this to push everything over as best as I can. I think having a minimal amount in there is not going to be detrimental, but as you can see, this is quite an accumulation, and that's what was really making it more audible. I mean, look at all of that. So I'm going to work on this. I've got an air compressor outside. I'm going to try to blow it out. I'm also going to try to use this magnet. Let me try it real quick here. I don't know if it got any. Yeah, it looks like it picked up a little bit. Definitely some kind of gold debris. Maybe it's real gold. Maybe I can make some money, but it's doubtful. Anyways, I hope this helps because these are amazing speakers. They're end-game speakers, flagship speakers. You just really can't get any better unless you spend a lot more money, which then it's all, you know, subjective, but it's up to your ears. But I love these, and I hate to lose them, so I don't want to make them into a big paperweight. I want to keep them going strong for many years. I've already replaced capacitors on these. I've replaced foam surrounds on these guys, so I do a lot of speaker repair to really enjoy my audio. But okay, good luck to you out there. If you have any questions, post them below. I do try to respond to people in YouTube, especially my JL Fathom videos. A lot of people have responded, and it's been very helpful to go through that process to teach others how to repair that. But yeah, hopefully I'll figure this out. And if you've had this problem, let me know. And also let me know if there's a source for repair. You could take this on yourself if you have experience, but pulling a speaker apart is it does take some talent or experience, I should say. Maybe get an old speaker and tear into that, and you know, buy something on eBay or Craigslist or Goodwill and practice first. You know, the spider definitely did not get damaged too much. I'm gonna have to get some of the glue off. The rubber surround, this is butyl rubber, and it came off really easily by just putting a screwdriver here and just prying a little bit. And once it pops up, then you just work the screwdriver around. So the surround, the rubber surround, comes off real easily. The spider was a little bit more of a problem because the glue is different, and you have to use xylene. About 30 bucks for that at Home Depot. Okay, I think I'm wrapping up with this video. Finally covered everything, but I hope it helps you out. Have a good day, guys. Okay, wanted to get back to some more information to help others. I did go ahead and got most of the debris out. It's looking really good. You can even see down to the bottom, it's looking good. There might be a few little bits, but way better than it was. It was magnetic. The attempt with the magnet that I tried, it helped. So I was putting this down here. You know, it sticks pretty good. Getting a little bit out. Not a whole lot. I even used a car magnetic retriever for when you drop tools, which happens a lot. The best solution was using this dental probe. The toothpick, I did run the toothpick through there, but it broke because it was too thin, but it did bring it up to the top at least, most of it. The best solution was just getting some thick junk mail paper. I folded it in a way that would kind of capture it to help me pull up. And I got most of it up to the top. Then I used this probe to basically pick at it and fling it out. And that worked the best. So I wanted to share that. So a small probe and some paper was the best solution. Okay, a little update. I spent about an hour working on the voice coil gap with another toothpick. I found that was one of the best things to use. These are just some of the cheap box of 10,000 toothpicks you get from HEB, grocery store, Walmart. The probe was used quite a bit, so it was thin enough to get in there. But I think the toothpick is actually the best tool, along with paper. I even opened up this paper to kind of scrape this direction so it would kind of capture. And I use single sheets. I use different types of paper, different thickness. Use a razor blade a little bit. It actually dug out quite a bit. And I used it in reverse, not the sharp side, so it would kind of be more of a push. Magnets, I did use these to pick up some debris. And like I said, it's been about an hour, and so I picked up this microscope on Amazon a few months ago for another project. It was about 65 bucks. This thing has been amazing. I haven't had a microscope since I worked in the tech industry at Intel for about 16 years. So yeah, these are really cool. Run off a battery, so they keep a really long charge, and then you can plug it in as well. But you can change the lighting, turn the light up or down. But just a further review to look inside the voice coil. Yeah, you can see inside the channel there, and it is clean. So I'm very confident about this. Need to just put everything back together, but yeah, didn't really need the microscope. It was just there for, verification, but wanted to share that. Okay, I got it done. Mission complete, successful. I just wanted to kind of wrap this video up and just kind of brief over my method for putting speakers back together after a repair like this. So in essence, what I do is I hook it up to a stereo. I always want to play some music while I'm working on the speaker. The first step is getting that spider glued in place. And so you can see I have a few marks on there when I took it apart to kind of somewhat line it up. Of course, the xylene kind of messed up some of the lines, but nonetheless, it was just kind of an indicator, reminder for me in preparation. That's where I want it to somewhat go. I just kind of have marks throughout. Anyways, hook it up to some music. Definitely want to turn the bass up. because you need to make that cone move. Of course, this song isn't really producing the bass that I would want. I usually use my phone to play some music, but in essence, you want to move the driver while you're letting that glue dry. And so the glue is going to take a little bit of time to dry, which gives you an opportunity to make adjustments and kind of help line up the voice coil. Playing music allows the voice coil to kind of center itself, which is what I prefer. A lot of times with big subwoofers, I'll crank up some bass and just let it kind of seat itself while I re-glue the spider or the foam, the surround. So you do the spider first, get that seated. I let this sit overnight, and then I came back today and I glued the surround portion down. Make sure you get enough glue in these little areas because you want it to be totally sealed. And yeah, it's working. No more scratching. Everything worked out as planned. So I'm super happy because these are $15,000 to $20,000 depending on which version you have. You have a $20,000 paperweight sitting in your living room because you can't buy these speakers anymore. So hopefully this video is going to help. If you have a problem, you can send this video to your technician, the speaker repair person, to give them some guidance on maybe the steps I took, and that it is successful. So I'm assuming that the debris entered this speaker through the top because there's no dust cover like typical speakers. You know, like I've got some old JVCs up in the garage. I've got a big 12-inch woofer with a big dust cover over it, and that prevents debris from getting into the voice coil. But because these are open, they it's just a design for the wave guide, and it allows debris to get in there. So yeah, kind of a bummer, but hopefully this helps, guys. Have a good one. I'm super happy they're fixed and working properly. So a little bit of work, not super difficult, just got to take your time and go through it. But yeah, so hopefully this helps some of you guys out because these are phenomenal speakers, and the version 2s are $20,000, and the last thing you want is a paperweight for 20 grand sitting in your living room. So happy listening, guys.